Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. Today is September 7, 2020. And, I haven't even gone to sleep yet. I've been watching a lot of videos. And yes, of course, I've heard about the incident with Nancy Pelosi and the hairdresser. I'm just going to share my thoughts. My thoughts, wow. I think my first initial response, how I felt was anger at Nancy Pelosi because of her position and what she represents, and that about making laws and her not abiding by it. So that was my initial response. And then I went and searched for anything I can find about the incident. And I found the video online with the owner of the salon, salon. She made a statement. It's about 13 minutes long. And at times it was she gave detail, very important detail, but at times it got confusing. But what was consistent was that she did not set her up. She was not there to make the appointment. The appointment was made by the stylist, and that it was said that, let's see, I'm not sure now whether it was another video specifying that Nancy may have actually made the initial call for that person to come over her house. And that would seem to be, like something that would, I wouldn't be surprised at something like that. If, I'm sure she has the money to pay someone to go in her house to do her hair. And with the stylist not able to work at a salon right now, and indoors is not permitted right at this time. But it was said that the stylist said no. And I'm wondering if this whole thing is about a lockdown and about wanting to make money, why would a stylist refuse 6 months without a job, without income, and you're going to turn someone down and say, no, I can't go to your house, but you'd rather go and tell the person to come to the salon. And the stylist, it turns out, according to the 13-minute interview by the owner of the salon, the stylist is one person, but the owner of the salon is someone else, just for clarity's sake. The stylist acts as like an independent individual. It's not like they're not employees of the salon owner. They're separate entities. The stylists rent out a chair or booth to utilize the shop and they are paid directly, the stylist is paid directly by the client, and none of the money that is made by the stylist goes to the owner. It does not. The owner of the salon says that she wasn't even in town when the appointment was made. But at one point, the stylist did contact the owner and made mention that an appointment was made for Nancy Pelosi. But what was confusing to me was that the stylist is not required to have to notify the owner or ask permission to make an appointment for somebody. So if that's the case, why did the stylist notify her, the owner? So that wasn't clear to me. If the independent, the stylist, and it is not required for them to ask the owner of the salon permission to make an appointment, and each stylist has a code to enter the salon 24/7. So what's the big deal? Why was the owner notified? It also was said that the stylist is pro Nancy Pelosi and promotes her. But he, as a stylist, is also concerned about, to be able to work in a salon, without those restrictions, with the lockdown. What would he benefit? How would he benefit to call the owner? This is your friend or someone who you're in favor with. The stylist is in favor of Nancy Pelosi. Why would he need to? What would be the motive for him to talk to the owner of the salon? And the owner of the salon did not tell the stylist to don't do it. Nothing like that, according to the owner, was done. So it sounded like a red light. So the stylist does have Nancy come in. It was made on a Sunday, and she comes in on a Monday. They do the hair, and Nancy doesn't have, at the time, when she's getting her hair washed or wet or whatever, for a blowout, she didn't have the mask according to the video. But at other times, according to Nancy Pelosi, that she did wear the mask, but not when her hair was actually being shampooed or at the sink. So the owner does say that she gets back in town, and when she arrived, she did see Nancy go by her, and she didn't have a mask. So if she was upset that Nancy didn't have a mask, and her being the owner, why didn't she ask Nancy at that time to put the mask on? So that's my other thought. So the interview with the 13-minute interview with the salon owner was a little bit. I mean, she's very emotional, and I would be too. I think anybody would be really emotional and scared. They said that she's a parent, a single mom, and you don't have any income coming in for 6 months. That's very, very problematic. And then you have a stylist also who needs to make money, and it just sounds like a win-win. Um, to the stylist needs money, the owner needs money, and with the stylist doing a favor for a client, he'll get money. And that stylist would be able to pay his rent, for his booth and pay the owner. So it all sounds like a win-win situation. She doesn't make the rules specifically for this mask situation, but she of course does talk about it, that the importance and all that. And so in that aspect, it sounds like she's very contradicting, Nancy Pelosi. If you stress so much about safety, I don't know who actually makes the rules for San Francisco that you have to have the mask. That person has to be addressed and for them to change it. So my other thoughts about this whole thing, I feel for the owner, because see, the owner was she said she was getting death threats, and her career there in San Francisco is pretty much through. Now, to have someone attack a private citizen, and not a wealthy woman, just a modest woman who owns a salon and just want to feed herself and her family, to go to that extent for death threats. You don't make any death threats to anybody. Who would do that? Who would do that? Death threats. And what would they get out of it? The harm was already done. So what about the stylist? Where does that stylist fit in all this? He's in favor of Nancy Pelosi. He didn't need to tell anybody about his endeavors, him making some money on the side. They all benefit. So it's just something, there's a piece missing in all this. Why didn't he want to do her hair at the home and charge more money for that service? Did he want her at the salon, and knowing that there's cameras? The cameras are always on, according to the owner, for 5 years. I don't know, I don't know, it's just very confusing. There's a piece missing in all this. Two people claim they want to make a living. A thought that just came in my mind. What if, because it sounds like there's a he said, she said, the stylist has her go to the salon, and for whatever reason calls up the lady. What if, I mean, it's just, I'm just trying to make sense out of all this. The whole thing is about being able to have the ability to have clients being able to come to the salon, to be open. But without it, you don't have money. But let's say if you get it on tape and then leak it, leak the tape to an outlet, and they'll pay you for it. Remember, this sounds, that thought reminds me of, remember the woman also from California who had taped, according to her, for many, many months, their conversations for more like a, not the word tutor, but to like a to train as a training thing. He was that basketball owner, and then yes, he did a no. He said a no. And the woman says, well, I didn't release it. I mean, I'm just videotaping, doing the audio tape, just for an exercise to try to improve the, whatever. And she then gives that tape to a friend to just hold. And it didn't make sense. That even didn't make sense to me. So, okay, I want to make all this audio tapes of my boss, and some of the info was very sensitive. And this other person doesn't even work for him. And then that person releases it to an outlet. And of course, I'm sure she got paid for that. Wouldn't these people benefit by having something like a videotape of a very prominent person and out them and get the money from the news outlet? See, that makes more sense to me. But again, it may not have been the case. But it doesn't make sense, the stylist squealing on someone who's paying her for a service. And why didn't he just say, no, I can't do it because we're not able to do it and I can lose my license or whatever? That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. And he's your friend. But sometimes friends or frenemy, I don't know. And then you have the owner. But the owner does say that when she saw that she didn't have a mask, she felt that was very serious. And that she's concerned about the stylist and herself and the rest of the staff, not staff, people who use her salon, and the industry as a whole, that they should have the ability to go one-on-one, to have an open salon. So what is it? And it also turns out that the guy, the stylist, has a, how do you say, he got a lawyer. I think they said he released a statement via a lawyer or something. So he knows something is up. It's a legal matter. And the other concern I have about the whole incident, what was that now? See, every woman, no, I should say every woman, but many women are very self-conscious about their hair, especially when you're high up there. in government or celebrity, you know, actress, model, and you contact your stylist. Now I don't know whether he had done her before, because I think she did. I think the owner said she didn't utilize that salon before, but then I thought she says somewhere else that she's seen it before over time. So I'm not sure. But either way, she was there that day, Nancy. But what? I'm sorry, just losing train of thought now. I'm sorry. Um, oh, brother. I wish I could put this on pause. See, the whole thing is about money. Oh, privacy. I remember now. My apology. Privacy. Why I think this is important is that privacy, okay, it's like you go into your therapist or close buddy, and then the trust. See, that stylist could have just had the power to say, I can't do you at your home and I can't do you at the shop because my license, blah, blah, blah. Because, see, what happened was, you know, that stylist violated the law also. They're the ones with the license. They're the one that has authorization in that store, I mean, in that salon, not the client. So he had the power, the stylist, but he didn't use it. And the confidentiality, when you're not, I mean, the owner said that the video's always going on, you know, it's been there for 5 years. The owner didn't have authorization to release a video during a private session. Again, the owner allows the stylist 24/7 access to that shop, and that they are not required to have to notify the owner of any appointment because they serve like a private agent and they just renting a spot. Okay, so it's like having an apartment, and you can have people come and go in your apartment. You don't have to ask your landlord, you know, with a regular lease, whether you can have people come in. So it's similar. So I think that is something that needs to be looked into. You are a private individual. It could have been anybody. And when you release a video without permission and violating privacy laws, because it was an agreement as a private agent, the stylist, and that stylist could have said no or yes. He had the power. So her privacy was violated, Nancy Pelosi, whether you like her or not. I'm not a Nancy Pelosi fan. I'm not. But, sorry. But it doesn't make sense. And what if someone that you knew, and you kind of in a bind, and you go into a party or wedding, and you just, you know, you just need a little help with it, because women are sensitive about their hair. Women are very sensitive. And there's, in life, you know, there, there, there are rules, and then sometimes rules are broken a little bit for exceptions. And the stylist, um, like you saw in the video with Nancy Pelosi, that there were you saw two people there, but besides Nancy Pelosi, and they had masks on, so they weren't in any risk. So Nancy was imposing a health risk onto those other two people, and it's something she chose, and they permitted. If they didn't want her, or if it was a risk, then they, as practitioners, professionals, would have said, you need to put your mask on this time, or that, because we have the cameras going, it looked bad, and if people see it, blah blah blah, they could cause them their license or something. But that wasn't done. So there's no victims here, because everything was consensual. So what was the problem? Well, we know what the problem. We know on the surface what the problem is. Nancy Pelosi is being a hypocrite. But again, like many ladies, and you know yourself, ladies, you have a hot date to go on, or you got a job interview. Things right now is intense, and people will do anything for money. And something under the strain, people have certain things that need to be done, right? Let's say you're a mother, and let's say you got a kid, and the kid has sick or something, and you have to race home, and so you tell them, well, hey, my kid, and they know, they have to leave, but they need the full pay. Let's say they want to leave 20 minutes early, and let's say they get paid by the hour. But we all know that person needs every cent, right? They're a poor person. They need every penny. The owner says, okay, you're a good worker. I'll bend it a little bit, I'll bend the rules a little bit, and I'll pay you for the whole 20 minutes that you're leaving. But, make sure, you do your job, make sure you come in, you do your job. Okay, so there's that human factor that should come in the picture. I'm sorry, looking for. Sorry, my hand was covering the line. I apologize for that. I couldn't find what was going on. Yeah. So what would you do? What would you do? Of course, you hear the things. If you're an individual who's in the job market, I'm sure some of us, most of us, have heard things like that. You kind of bend the rules a little bit. Someone could allow someone sort of leave a little earlier, blah blah blah. And then many of you maybe say, well, this is not that's not a pandemic situation about going home with a baby, because your babysitter is sick or whatever, and this is a pandemic with the flu or whatever, and we have to wear the mask. But still, human needs, and there was an expectancy of, tweaking it. No one is being physically harmed. All parties are benefiting. And then you betray that person's trust. she's not a stupid woman. Nancy Pelosi is not a stupid woman. She might be a lot of things, but I'm sure before she does something, she's going to ask, hey, I need a favor, right? I need a favor. And to say yes, that you do a favor, and then tell someone that you're not authorized to tell, and they have control over the tapes, and they release the tape, and the stylist feels the need to get a lawyer. Why would you need to get a lawyer if you are acting on your, what you're supposed to be doing? Something doesn't sit right with me. This whole thing. Listening to the woman's interview, I mean, it's heartfelt, and I feel her pain. She's angry, and rightly angry, rightly so angry, because she wants to open up her salon. But when she released the tape, because at first it sounded like she was saying, when she said she didn't set her up, I believe that she did not, she may not have been there at the time of the appointment, but she definitely knew once it was made, and her and I having the mask. I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel that it's betraying a trust between a client. I mean, I personally don't think the owner should have done that, should have released the tape, because that is between the client and the stylist, and it's a private contractor, so to speak. The person rents out space, and what he does in his time, during his time, and with his client, that is private. And if she's protecting the other stylists and the person that did the service for Nancy Pelosi, how is that going to help him? Because now he has to get a lawyer, which is not free, and it could jeopardize his career, because he's saying one thing. It is very, I mean, just hearing the stories between what the stylist alleges and then what the owner say, it's really confusing. So there's a piece missing, and ladies, you know that you wouldn't want, if you ask somebody that you know and they say yes, for, don't renege on it, and don't leak that I thought that was wrong. In my heart, I felt that was a no-no. And but I don't think the person who released the tape should not have, she shouldn't have been threatened her life. That was no. So it's a lot of no-nos here, because it's just making the environment even more hostile. Because women during this COVID, they want to look good, right? We get desperate, many of us. And then you have the practitioner. They're not making the money. So, we gotta, there's a thin line between the interaction between the client and the practitioner. Just like you wouldn't want your therapist, you tell the therapist something, and then they say, oh, hey, so-and-so says such and that. It's setting up a precedence that you could, and when a person's getting their hair done, especially women, because women are generally in there longer than when the guys are in there, right? And girls talk. That's our nature. We talk. And um, to betray that trust. You don't like someone, you don't like them. But there's a line though. You don't betray a trust with a video, because someone could do it to her. She didn't make the appointment. She had no involvement with the appointment, the owner, and I don't think she should have gotten involved. That stylist got money. That stylist got money for that day, so they can feed their family if they have a family, or at least feed themselves for that day. And I think I don't think anything more should have been done after that. But when it was decided that when she leaked it, then she's putting herself in a different category now. And now whatever what happens, she's fair game. It's fair game when you play that, and knowing what type of authority that woman has. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, it's. People don't like being shamed. And when people of power feel like someone outed them or shaming them, wow. It's like going in the lion's den and poking at the lion. I wouldn't mess any lion. And so I feel like the owner of the salon, even though I understand why they did what they did, I understand it. Yeah, I understand it very well. But it's causing her more harm. Now she lost a career. That's a powerful ass woman, Pelosi. And you have to, I think in some places, okay, yeah, you have to practice within that state. So she's in California, so she'll go and practice in California. She'll have to go get another license if she decides to move out of state. And that's going to take time. And it's costing her money also. Her decision is costing her her career. So even though I understood her anger, I don't think she should have leaked that. I feel it was a cheap shot. But at the same time, Nancy does say a lot of things. I personally am not a Nancy fan. I'm not a fan of hers. But again, as ladies, we all like favors, and we all know with what is that? With rank comes privileges. We all know. We all like to be catered to. We all like favors, right? We do. Whether you're up there, whether you're a rich person, or you're actress, you know what I'm saying? We all like favors and things. It's expected with certain, some things. It's just the name of the game. So this is I think dangerous, because now you go in a salon. Your word isn't your word. When you call up somebody and they tell you yes, and then when you pull the rug on them, then other people can do it against you. let's say someone needed to go to the doctor to get a procedure done. And they really need it, but maybe this COVID, because again, some people, they're not being seen. And they think, look, I really need help, I'm in pain, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, you come in, I'll come in and see you and treat you. And then they do that, and then you go release something, or you tell somebody, and then they tell somebody else. No. I think what should have been done, if the stylist, and see also, I used to work in a beauty salon, a very high-end beauty salon in Manhattan. Yes, I did. And I know how these guys work. They're real catty. They could smile in your face and tell you something, but beware. Beware. They're real catty in the hair industry. Real catty. And it just puts a damper on the field, because now you're not really being the professional. See, you are the professional, not Nancy Pelosi. Nancy is a politician, but you are the hairdresser. You have your license to do what you do. And when you betray that trust in your client, and again, it was something agreed upon, no one is getting physically hurt. And yes, Nancy did break the rules. But if it was that important, the rules were that important, then the stylist and the owner, because the owner said that she had seen her there, what he said, walk past her, should have said right then, look, I am the owner of the salon, and you need to put your mask on. I know it's inconvenience, right? That would have been the mature professional thing to do or say. As an owner, you had a right as an owner to say that to her when you saw her. That's my thought about it. It's really setting up a bad precedence, or I should say, it could really set the industry. People be afraid to go. It's no trust now. No trust. So that's all that I want to say. And yeah, it is touchy. It is touchy. I've worked in salons. I see what goes on, and women, people talk. You relax. You say things, and I wouldn't want anybody to show that. And again, she is an older lady. She's an old lady. And even though she might be a real pain in you-know-what, she's an old lady. Yeah, she's cranky, just either say, yes or no. Yes, you do it. If you do it, just do it all the way. If you don't want to do it, you can make some excuse and decline. Because we all need help these days. And this is not helping anybody. This whole action didn't help anybody. It screwed everybody. It screwed Nancy, and whether she deserves it or not. Okay, she probably deserves a lot of stuff, But this also hurts the stylist and the owner, who claim that the whole reason that they're doing this is to open up doors. But in the end, it screwed them all. No money. No money now because now you got to pay for a lawyer, and you know what they can do. They can shut down her salon. They could maybe even throw her in prison, or the stylist in prison, right? They violated something. They can do that. They could, what do you call it? Do an audit, right? They could do an audit on them. They could do, that woman, that Nancy could do a lot of things against them, but she doesn't deserve any death threats, things like that. That's bad. Yeah, that is horrible. I feel bad about with her. I feel bad about that. So these are my thoughts, and let me know what your thoughts are. How would you have handled it? What do you think? What do you think really happened? Let me know. So take care and enjoy the rest of your day, folks. I know I've been on here for a while. Take care, guys. Bye bye.